Frogs. But what if golf? That is the timeless question posed by the unrecognized classic, Ribbit King, a title released in 2003 on the GameCube and PS2. Developed by a smaller team at Bandai, this game takes the wacky style of mini-golf and turns it up to 11. So, how does the game actually work? Ribbit King works mostly like a standard golf game, where players line up shots with a power bar and try to sink a frog in a goal. The fact that we're using frogs affects the game in a few key ways. The frogs jump and don't roll after landing. Second, the frogs have a mood that changes the properties of the frog. Lastly, the frogs can swim, which turns water into a plus, not a hazard. The biggest difference from golf is that the final winner is determined by how many points a player earns throughout the course, and not who has the fewest strokes. This creates a system where players are encouraged to explore the courses, provided they can correctly line up and set up a combo. Players do still get points for scoring early. The first turn gives a player 1,500 points. Any turn after that, it's 1,000 points until someone scores. Once that happens, the points decrease per the number of turns after the point is scored. This means that if you're not going for the hole-in-one, scoring a hole is less efficient if you can guarantee each shot is worth more than 100 points. A hole operates more as a call-out or security play than the only goal. All in all, it's a really unique system. The game as a whole does wacky courses better than something like Mario Golf. Also backing up our frogs is the variety of items. Fuel restores tired frogs and lets them go farther. Lucky lets a frog get more points from random stop animals. The bouncer makes frogs not bounce, and many more such items. There are 5 planets with 4 stages each. However, the spawn and goal on each map changes randomly each time, letting the player experience different obstacles and gimmicks each time. This game is just a neat take on the average stale golf video game. There are 2 versions of this game, one on GameCube and one on PS2. Graphically, the GameCube version is slightly nicer, but most of the fixes come in the form of load times. There are different characters and frogs on each version. It's super minor, but technically the PS2 frog is better. The footage for this review is taken from an emulator of the PS2 version. Unfortunately, my PS2 died and my LGS had no replacements. I mean, what was I supposed to do? Buy from DK Oldies?
It's like sticky on it! Look at how much is caked on here, around here, over here on the intake. It's all caked on the inside too.
In any case, I can fix the whole load time issue and get the game at its best. The art style covers a lot of this game's age. It's like a Japanese children's cartoon, similar to Crayon Shin-chan, crossed with the amazing world of Gumball. It creates this childlike aesthetic that helps cover up the vaguely offensive cutscenes throughout the game.
I wonder where he got those clothes. I don't trust him. Watch your back, Scooter, okay?
I like the music in the game a lot. The composer is Yusuke Takahama of Smash Bros. Fame, in the middle of his career. The music here is less impressive, but still just as charming. There are 3 game modes split over 2 discs. The first disc has story mode and multiplayer. The second disc has a series of time trials and challenges. Let's look at the story mode. Our main character, Scooter, gets sent on a quest to beat the entire world at frolf, playing against a range of moderately to very offensive competitors. I mean, say what you will, but at least they're not the judge.
By the way, who exactly are you anyway?
Oh, me? Why, I'm a referee. Anyway, your opponents are all waiting. Let's go kick off the frolf tournament tour!
A referee? Are they always that creepy? I don't really trust him. He's shady.
Yoo-hoo! All aboard the FU! Hurry up, let's go!
Should we go? Forget it. Come on. He's a weirdo.
At least I'm not a picnic basket.
Every character in this story gets way too close to my face. It's honestly uncomfortable. Playing through the series and a lot of repeats, Scooter eventually gets to fight the real host of the Ribbit King tournament, the Gumbagoo Machine, a living gacha machine, proving that addiction has been the real villain of the story the entire time. After this fight, Scooter saves the day and there's another campaign with the exact same gameplay and another villain, this time without the somewhat questionable cutscenes. The storyline is very simple and exists mostly as a fun distraction for kids. It's more charming than it has any right to be. But what keeps this mode down is the terrible AI. It's actually very restrictive and tends to hard attempt certain shots over and over again with some minor variations. Unfortunately, this leaves the AI being very exploitable and a complete non-factor. The story mode overall is repetitive, boring, and lacking in content. Maybe some gimmick game modes could help spice this up. With this criticism, I bet you're wondering why I praised this game in my title. Well, that's because where this game excels is as a multiplayer party game. I've busted this game out as a party game, and it's held its own alongside the likes of Mario Party and Super Smash Bros. The wacky, large mini-golf gameplay is amazing. Having a group of 4 players compete to try and find the most optimal path through a stage is super fun. Not only that, once someone does win, this happens.
And now the results. Your score so far is this. The surprise bonus for this round is for this. For this many points. And the bonus goes to you!
Yeah!
So, the winner is this player!
Hooray!
The winner is awarded all these points. The end.
That's right. If you lose, you get nothing! Tying massive chains together feels great, even if for most players, it'll happen just because of luck. Not only that, the before-mentioned goal-scoring system is comedy gold in a multiplayer setting where players can call each other out. On one hand, what content is in the game is extremely good, but on the other, problems start to creep up once you start to look for more depth in the game. There being only 5 worlds with 4 stages each is the biggest cap to this game's quality. There are technically correct ways to play stages, and once you learn them, it ruins the game. Stages surprisingly have limited replayability. There could be a lot added with some randomness of the obstacles and bonuses in the stages, or more honestly, just there needs to be more stages. Also, why did we put in the target stage? There's so much of the stage that just can't be used because there's so few ways to get to the goal. You have to land on these little floaty platform things, or you don't make it to the goal. It's very hard to do it without it. You need to use particular frogs for it, and it's just lame. Another thing, several frogs don't actually have special abilities. Sometimes it's hard to figure out which frogs actually do have abilities. Having a guide in the multiplayer menu when you're selecting frogs that actually explains the stats of the frogs would be extremely helpful. This is compounded by the fact that the ability to switch frogs is unavailable in multiplayer, getting rid of a lot of the variance in the game. The free items the game gives to counteract this do help a lot, but it's just weird because now there are correct frogs to choose. Despite this, I can't be too hard on the game, taking into account how much charm and genuine fun it offers. I would rate it a 7 out of 10, and call the game an underrated gem, even with its issues. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about the second game disc. That's because I couldn't find a PS2 or GameCube copy with the second disc, or an emulator of it. Apparently, it's just supposed to be challenge stages, which sounds fun, but I can't really judge it without playing it. Lastly, I'd like to announce that I've gotten a sponsorship by Card Trader. Hard segue, I know, but if you plan on ordering trading card singles, this is a great place to do it. Just make sure to use the referral link in the description below, it helps support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.